Lance Corporal Manny is a 2-year-old full-blooded English bulldog, born in Fallbrook, California, on July 9, 2018. He is named in honor of Sergeant Johnny R. Manuelito Sr., one of the original 29 Navajo code talkers who trained in the first all-Navajo platoon here aboard the depot in 1942. Sergeant Manuelito helped create the code that the Navajos developed at Camp Elliott, now Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. He became an instructor, teaching other Navajo Marines the Navajo code. Later, Sergeant Manuelito participated in the Battle of Iwo Jima, where a Marine signals officer stated, "Had it not been for the code talkers, we would have never taken Iwo Jima." Lance Corporal Manny continues the tradition of a long line of mascots at MCRD San Diego, dating back to 1939, when Major General Smedley Butler introduced James Jolly Plum Duff as the first mascot here at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot. He is being escorted by the Office of Communication, Lance Corporal Grace J. Kindred. Spiritual development plays an important part in the making of a United States Marine. Lieutenant Commander Robert Keener, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, will deliver the graduation prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
So let us pray. Pray, Heavenly Father, as we gather here at this special place to be part of the graduation for Fox Company, we ask you, Lord, to be with us. Lord, as you know, these young men, over 3 months ago, they left everyone they knew. They left everyone they loved. They left their small towns, their large cities to pursue their dream, to answer your call, to be part of this organization that is bigger than themselves. And for this, Lord, we give you many thanks because you've been with them in every step of their journey. Heavenly Father, we want to thank all our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, grandma, grandpas, everybody who was here. We want to thank them for over the last 3 months for all their prayers, all their support, and all their love. That in a little bit now, may they now notice a new gleam in their eye, the crispness of their uniform, their pride in their walk. Because, Lord, these young men now are our future leaders. These young men now are our future warriors. And yes, Lord, these young men now may be called a United States Marine. And for this, we give you many thanks. Separate Alice to you, Lord. Separate Alice to everybody who's here, but especially separate Alice to the Corps. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. The Commanding General, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, welcomes you to what is an historic event in the life of a Marine, their graduation from boot camp. Approximately 40 weeks each year for the past 100 years, new Marines have departed San Diego for service with units of the Marine Corps around the globe. The primary mission of the Recruit Depot is to provide basic training to recruits enlisted west of the Mississippi, which represents approximately 51% of all applicants in the Marine Corps each year. The depot is also home to recruiter school and drill instructor school. All our efforts here are geared toward one end: producing America's finest fighting force, the United States Marines. This morning, Company F, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment, will form and march in the parade. Following the pass and review, the graduating Marines will return front and center of the reviewing stand for final dismissal. The staff for today's parade is comprised of Marines from the Recruit Training Regiment. The commander of troops is First Sergeant Michael R. Melendez, Company First Sergeant, Company F, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion. The parade adjutant is Gunnery Sergeant Adam M. Salion. 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment. The marching units are now being called to attention, and the adjutant's command, sound adjutant's call, will begin today's parade. Marching in today's parade are 275 of the graduating Marines from Company F. Amongst the 275 Marines are 2 Marines who displayed outstanding performances in 2 individually graded events. PFC Maximilian Brown from Platoon 2129 is the company high shooter, scoring a 341 out of 350. PFC Ethan Lacey, also from Platoon 2129, is the most physically fit Marine. They will be receiving an award from the Marine Corps Association and Foundation. Also present today is the company honored graduates recruiter, Sergeant Brian B. Kane, as well as the primary marksmanship instructor with the highest platoon range average, Corporal Nelson J. Minabar. Recruit training is comprised of subjects required to produce basic Marines who function effectively in garrison, are trained in rudimentary individual field and combat skills, and practice the personal and professional traits which distinguish them as Marines. Examples of these traits are discipline, the achievement of a state of discipline which assures respect for authority, instant and willing obedience to orders, and the self-reliance to maintain or improve those traits which exemplify a Marine. Military bearing, a consistently demonstrating military presence and personal awareness, as well as the proper wearing and maintenance of uniforms. A spirit de corps, acquiring the common spirit of the Marine Corps that inspires enthusiasm, devotion, pride, initiative, teamwork, aggressiveness, determination, moral courage, integrity, camaraderie, and the burning desire to work with and for others toward excellence in common goals. For 244 years, Marines have fought and won whenever and wherever the nation calls, in the harshest conditions, over the most brutal terrain, and against the most formidable enemies. Marines defend the ideals of freedom with grit and tenacity. Though battlefields change and capabilities evolve, history proves that true victory comes from the individual Marine with steel revolve. The drive to overcome any obstacle and the warrior spirit to fight on against all odds. It takes that steadfast faithfulness, semper fidelis, to Corps, country, and each other that abounds throughout our storied legacy. Marines today remain in combat, forward deployed throughout the world, confronting every challenge with courage, loyalty, and faithfulness. They are resolved to be most ready when the nation is least ready, to defend freedom anytime and anywhere, to stand ready to aid those devastated by natural disasters, to pay tribute to those who have forged our proud legacy, and to honor the families and loved ones who faithfully stand beside us. For the Marines of Company F, today marks the end of the 14-week recruit training cycle. They have marched countless miles at Camp Pendleton and on this parade day, and have been trained, as are all Marines, as basic riflemen. In addition, due to an intensive physical training program, their strength and endurance have doubled since their arrival aboard the recruit depot. They are Marines, qualified to take their places in the ranks of the world's finest fighting organization. The platoons are now being aligned from left to right in order to get them into their exact positions for the parade. The next portion of the ceremony will be our national anthem. We welcome veterans and members of the armed forces to join us in rendering appropriate honors with a military salute. For guests who have not served in the military, it is proper etiquette during the national anthem to place their right hand over their hearts, and for those in the audience wearing headgear to remove it. Will the guests please rise for the presentation of the colors? Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Following the command parade rest, The parade adjutant will give the command sound off, which signals the band to parade forward of disassembled Marines while playing military marching music. The parade adjutant now presents the assembled command to the commander of troops. Officers center march. All unit commanders and guidon bearers march to the front and center of the formation. Historically, it was at this point that commanding officers would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Following this, the unit leaders would face about, return to their units, and pass the information along to their Marines. nation's history, millions of men and women have earned the title United States Marine. Many who have helped shape our history join us here today. In keeping with the tradition of once a Marine, always a Marine, we would like to recognize them. At this time, those in the audience who have served as Marines, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for their dedicated service to forward vessels. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the battalion commander for 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel R. Myers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for being here. On behalf of Brigadier General Morris, the Commanding General of the Western Recruiting Region, and the Marine Corps Recruit Depot here at San Diego, as well as on behalf of Colonel Jones, the Commanding Officer of the Recruit Training Regiment, it is my distinct privilege to welcome you to Company F's graduation. I would like to begin my remarks today by recognizing a few groups of individuals. First and foremost, to all you families and friends of these new Marines standing behind me, I want to personally thank you for all your love and support of them during recruit training, for it has been vital to their success. You gave them the preparation and the foundation that helped them overcome the many mental and physical challenges during their time here. And you also instilled in them the courage and commitment that enabled them to take those initial steps towards becoming a United States Marine. And for that, we are forever grateful. To the families of the drill instructors and officers of Company F who are seated over here to the right of the reviewing stand, no one knows more than you the time and dedication that it takes to transform civilians into Marines. And so I want to personally thank you for your many, many sacrifices that allows these drill instructors and officers to perform a mission that is absolutely critical to our national security and our Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these family members a round of applause. I'd also like to recognize today's parade reviewing official, Sergeant Major Vandertop, whose impressive bio you will hear shortly. Sergeant Major Vandertop is currently serving as a Sergeant Major for 11th Marines up at Camp Pendleton. Sergeant Major, let me just say it's an honor to have you. Thank you for joining us today. You know, making Marines is truly a team effort. And at the very forefront of that effort are recruiters sprinkled across this great country of ours. We couldn't do our job here on the depot if it wasn't for our recruiters finding and sending us qualified applicants with that strong desire to become a United States Marine. Today they are represented here by Sergeant Brian Kane from Recruiting Station, Georgetown, Texas. I'd also like to recognize and thank all our marksmanship instructors and combat instructors up at Weapons Field Training Battalion who teach many of our recruits the combat skills necessary to become a United States Marine. Today, they're represented here by Corporal Menabar, who is a primary marksmanship instructor for our company's highest shooter, Private First Class Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just give these two gentlemen a round of applause and a thanks for all our recruiters, combat instructors, and marksmanship instructors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have one more group that I'd like to recognize. And I'm going to tell you, really, this group really doesn't need much of an introduction. They're the individuals standing behind me wearing those distinctive green campaign covers, where they are the legendary Marine Corps drill instructors. And from the moment a recruit steps foot here on the depot, there's a drill instructor with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're at the very heart of what it takes to transform a civilian into a Marine. And you can ask any Marine, and especially your new Marines, they will never, ever forget the name, the face, or that gentle, loving voice that's woken them up every morning for the last 13 weeks of their drill instructors. And so I encourage you to come down and meet some of these young men after today's ceremony and thank them for their service. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the drill instructors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the new Marines standing behind me and a little bit about the training that they just went to. You see, when they first came to us, they were fit, young, already in better shape than most people their age. On average, they were 19 years old, and 98% of them were high school graduates, and 6 of them even had college degrees. Furthermore, they displayed the courage and commitment that few of their peers could muster when they raised their right hand, swore a solemn oath to support and defend the Constitution, and then traveled here from across every state and territory in the Western Recruiting Region and 6 other countries across this globe. Some coming as far as the Philippines and Japan, and others from right here within San Diego. And when they arrived here, well, that's when steel began to sharpen steel, as these drill instructors forged them through the fires of the crucible into a tightly cohesive group of physically fit, disciplined Marines, honing their minds and their bodies until they proved themselves capable of walking long distances across mountainous terrain with minimal food and sleep while carrying heavy packs to be where they're needed, when they're needed to accomplish the mission. Now, many of you have already seen them, and you've noticed that there was a few changes over the last 13 weeks. But I got a few more I want to tell you about. Moms, you're going to love this. I guarantee you they know how to get up every morning and make their beds. And dads, well, that haircut that you've always wanted them to get, they got it, and I promise they'll keep it for the foreseeable future. But I want you to know that truly the most important change is one that has occurred within. For they have been thoroughly immersed in our core values of honor, courage, and commitment. And just by virtue of them standing here today means they've accepted those values as their own. And it's because of this, because of the journey that they have made and that physical, mental, and moral development that they have displayed, that through their blood, sweat, and tears, they are now proud to forever claim that title of Marine. And now I am proud to introduce to all of you 275 members of Company F as our nation's newest Marines. Now, excuse me while I turn and address these Marines one last time before we conclude today's ceremony. Good morning, Marines. Like Sergeant Major and I have told you before, we are very proud of you. Every challenge, every obstacle that we put in your path, you crushed it, and you truly earned the title of United States Marine. When you came and you stepped on the bus, on those legendary yellow footprints for the very first time, these drill instructors focused on instilling discipline, resiliency, and our core values in you until you demonstrated our Marine attributes of exemplary character and mental and physical toughness. And as you progressed in your training, you entered our martial arts program where you earned your tan belts. Some of you learned how to swim for the very first time in our aquatics program, and many of you overcame your fear of heights as you negotiated those high obstacles in our confidence course. And then you were taught weapons handling and traveled up to Recruit Training Battalion, where you learned to deliver precision fires on pinpoint targets from a staggering distance of over 500 yards away, demonstrating our warfighting skills, ethos, and culture. And then as a final test, you participated in that grueling 3-day exercise where you were given billets that required you to demonstrate leadership, initiative, and a bias for intelligent action, until you fully demonstrated at a level that we expect of every single Marine all of our attributes. So now, having completed the longest, the hardest, and certainly the most demanding recruit training across this globe, you stand ready to carry on our Marines traditions as our nation's naval expeditionary force in readiness and defend our great nation against all enemies. Now, as you travel away from here, I implore you to be safe, be smart, make good decisions like we've taught you. Never forget that Eagle Globe and Anchor that was pressed in the palm of your hand on top of that Reaper. For it represents over 245 years of Marine Corps traditions. You must always be worthy of that legacy and protect what you have earned. And so on behalf of the officers, the drill instructors, and the support personnel here at Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, it's my privilege to give you a traditional Marine Corps parting of fair winds and following seas. Congratulations, Marines, Semper Fidelis, and welcome to our Corps.
Now taking their position in the reviewing area is today's parade reviewing official, Sergeant Major Jeffrey J. Vandentop. He is accompanied by Sergeant Major Paul F. A. Sergeant Major for the Recruit Training Regiment. Sergeant Major Jeffrey J. Vandentop. Sergeant Major, 11th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division, Camp Pendleton, California. Sergeant Major Vandentop began Marine Corps recruit training on 23rd October 1995 at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, California. Upon his graduation as a private first class in January 1996, he reported to Marine combat training at Camp Pendleton, California. After which, he attended the basic supply course at Camp Johnson, North Carolina, from March 1996 to October 1996. Sergeant Major Vandentop has served in a variety of challenging billets in numerous commands, to include serving as fiscal clerk at 4th Tank Battalion, supply clerk and supply chief at 4th Low Altitude Air Defense Battalion, drill instructor with India Company, 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. Staff non-commissioned officer in charge at 1st Civil Affairs Group in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Supply Chief and Company Gunnery Sergeant for Headquarters and Service Battalion, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. Company First Sergeant and Squadron Sergeant Major for Air Control Training Squadron, Marine Corps Communications Electronics School, 29 Palms. And Battalion Sergeant Major for 3rd Transportation Support Battalion, Combat Logistics Regiment, 3rd Marine Logistics Group. Sergeant Major Vandentop's personal awards include the Meritorious Service Medal with 3 gold stars in lieu of 4th award, the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal with 2 gold stars in lieu of 3rd award, the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal with 4 gold stars in lieu of 5th award, and the Combat Action Ribbon. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sergeant Major Vandentop.
Sir, the parade is 4. Mark the command in review. Aye, aye, sir.
than 1 million Marines have been trained here in the past 100 years and have departed San Diego for combat in conflicts around the world, including places whose names are immediately associated with Marine courage and dedication. Names such as Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Iwo Jima, Busan, Incheon, Chosin Reservoir, Quezon, Way City, Lebanon, Grenada, Panama, Kuwait, Somalia, Fallujah, Iraq, Marja, Afghanistan, and our most current operations worldwide. This parade deck is rich in history and tradition, and no Marine trained here ever forgets its sights and sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, as the national flag passes directly in front of you, please rise. Once it passes, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Troops, First Sergeant Michael Melendez, Company First Sergeant, and the regimental staff. San Diego, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, California. Instructor, Staff Sergeant Jeremiah Serflin. Platoon, 2129, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Yorlin J. Barzola. Platoon, 2130, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Gerald W. Bulatulin. Platoon, 2131, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Luis E. Encarnacion. The Regimental Color Guard is led by Regimental Color Sergeant, Drill Instructor, Sergeant Nigel T. Tillman. Series 2133, Series Gunnery Chief Drill Instructor, Gunnery Sergeant Jose Flores. Honor Platoon 2133, Senior Drill Instructor, Gunnery Sergeant Moses Cardenas. Platoon, 2134, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Jovanta M. Suarez. Platoon, 2135, Senior Drill Instructor, Gunnery Sergeant Joel M. Garrison. The Marines hymn has a history dating back to 1859. It is a long-standing tradition for Marines to face the direction of the music and stand at attention when it is heard. It is now directed that all Marines present and who have served honorably sing the words to the first verse as Marine Band San Diego performs the Marines hymn. Will the guests please rise? And strength as an elite fighting force is directly attributable to the magnificent efforts of the drill instructors and company officers who train and supervise the recruits. The distinct qualities of spirit and discipline, the heart and soul of every Marine, have been developed, nurtured, and ingrained in recruits through their observance and relationship with their drill instructors and officers. Recruit training is the very foundation of the Corps. Each year, Recruit Training provides thousands of America's finest young men and women with the basic knowledge and skills to function in a profession characterized by its own set of high values and tough standards. The most important thing we do in the Marine Corps is make Marines. The individual Marine is the Corps. That is what we do here. For the Marines graduating today, the long, arduous journey of the last 14 weeks is but a small step into the future of the Marine Corps. As they prepare to fill the ranks of our Corps, they do so with unquestionable support for the high ideals and standards of the United States of America and the United States Marine Corps. Although Company F prepares for their final dismissal from boot camp today, their initial training is not over. Soon after graduation, they will report to the School of Infantry, Camp Benton, California, where they will continue to be trained to serve as an effective member of a Marine Rifle Squad. The intense initial training that every Marine undergoes is designed to instill the fundamental premise that every Marine is a rifleman. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to introduce to you the Marines responsible for ensuring the success of the difficult transition required to become a Marine. The company commander is Captain Andrew E. Lowaniak. The company first sergeant is First Sergeant Michael R. Melendez. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the company staff of Company F. The next portion of the ceremony will be the traditional function of retiring the guidons. The guidons have been carried by the platoons throughout recruit training and are being retired to symbolize the disbanding of platoons. All similar units in the Marine Corps carry such guidons, which identify the unit and are a source of pride to each individual member. Note that the honor of carrying these guidons is bestowed upon those Marines who displayed outstanding leadership qualities, motivation, and character, and were selected as the platoon honor graduates. The platoon honor graduates compete for the titles of series and company honor graduate. They are considered the top Marines graduating today and have demonstrated the highest potential for future leadership and responsibility in the Marine Corps.
Reason. Go. Order. Go.
The guidons will now be returned to the drill instructors. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause until all honor graduates have been recognized. The honor graduates will be presented a plaque donated by the Marine Corps Association and Foundation. The honor graduate for platoon 2129 is Private First Class Matthew J. Gaeta from San Bernardino, California. The honor graduate for platoon 2130 is Private First Class Colton R. Pavlica from Las Vegas, Nevada. The honor graduate for platoon 2131 and also the company honor graduate is Private First Class Caleb J. Miller from Austin, Texas. Private First Class Miller is also the recipient of the Chesty Puller Award for his outstanding meritorious performance while in recruit training. The honor graduate for platoon 2133 is Private First Class Jacob A. Flores from Bakersfield, California. The honor graduate for platoon 2134 is Private First Class Robert L. Friend from Batavia, Illinois. And the honor graduate for platoon 2135 and also the series honor graduate is Private First Class Lee M. Majors from Santa Rosa, California. Ladies and gentlemen, the honor graduates of Company F.
Company first over, report his order. Aye, aye, sir.
The company first sergeant will now give the command to the senior drill instructors to dismiss their platoons. Needless to say, this will be the most welcome command they have received throughout the recruit training.